What if I told you there was a way to protect yourself against financial scams, especially if you're a retiree? The day doesn't go by that we don't read the headlines of somebody getting scammed. But in this video, I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself. When you and I were growing up, we were taught never to question authority, especially doctors, policemen, even our parents, right? Just don't do it. But nobody ever taught us that it's okay to question our financial advisors. So with over 30 years experience in the financial advisory business, I remember way back when in the late 80s, early 90s, when I started out, one of the agents, because it was an insurance company, a lot of advisors, you probably don't know this, a lot of advisors start either in the insurance side of the business or in the what we used to call stockbroker side of the business. That's changed over the years, but I started in the insurance side. And I remember some of the older guys, and older, I was in my late 20s, they were probably in their early 50s. They would say, "This is what we do, young man. We turn their assets into our commissions." And they laughed about it. And that's the way things are done. And here we are looking at a story of an advisor with 40 years experience doing that exact thing to clients who trusted him. They bought those annuities from him at some point and wanted to use those vehicles for retirement. I don't know what happened. Chances are good that he ran into some financial difficulty and he decided to churn those annuities by selling newer ones with promised benefits that they didn't need. And he got very, very handsomely paid with commissions. This is what I want to make sure you understand. If you saw my video on, I've done retirement seminars. That's one of the things that you'll find out is the sale of life insurance and annuities is really an annuity to the advisor. Because once that annuity or that life insurance contract is on the books for any number of years, they're going to go back and revisit it and say, lo and behold, there's a new one, a better one. We think you should do this. And you're like, well, you know better. Let's do it. And you've just generated lots of commission for the advisor. The reason this particular advisor with 40 years experience got in trouble is because FINRA, the financial body that oversees brokers, found out that this person did no research on competing products, had no reasonable basis to turn those annuities into new annuities, and did it for the simple fact that there was more commission to be made. It didn't benefit the clients. So this next one will really curl your hair or make you throw up, one or the other. So there's an advisor, again, 14 years of experience, somebody who's been in the business for a while. So what this person did is that they sold a life insurance policy to one of their clients and made themselves the beneficiary. And he told the client at the time, well, if you can't think of one, we have to list somebody, just list me. And then when you decide what you want to do, we'll change it. Well, guess what? The change was never made. The client died in July of 24, and the advisor got paid the benefit. Can you imagine that? Making yourself the beneficiary of one of your clients' life insurance contracts? This stuff, it drives me nuts. Well, guess what? It's not like he got the money and said, oh, I forgot all about that. He turns around and doesn't find out, the firm that he's with doesn't find out until a year later in 2025 what he did. That's when he returned the money to the estate of the deceased. He was fined $10,000 and had a 6-month suspension. Man, I'll tell you what, it should be a lot more in the monetary fine and a heck of a lot more in the suspension. So this last one, real quick, this one I kind of put a little bit of blame on the client as well. And the reason is because the advisor asked the client if he could borrow money from the client. So the client wrote him a check because, again, it goes back to something that I've been banging the drum on. These advisors are not your friends. Yes, they'll take you out for dinner. Yes, they'll give you all kinds of wonderful gifts when you show up, send you birthday cards, do all of these wonderful things, but that's because you're making them money. Try this. Move your account to another advisor and see whether or not the birthday cards and the invites from your old advisor keep showing up. It ain't going to happen. Getting back to the story, so the advisor asked the client, hey, can I borrow some money? And the client, again, thinking that he was a friend, said sure. And he promised, the advisor promised to pay back the client within 90 days. Now get this, with 15% interest. Shocker, never paid him back. That's when the client finally saw the writing on the wall, filed a complaint. They tracked the advisor down. He didn't have the money, right? Of course not. He didn't have the money. Fined him $10,000. They'll never get that money, and suspended him 6 months. Do you see the pattern there? What does it take to get barred from the industry? I'll tell you about that in another video. But these are things that can happen to you, and we are a trusting lot of people. And many of the advisors in the business are our age, but every one of the advisors I just told you about, they were mature advisors. These weren't kids pulling scams. These were experienced advisors somehow looking for money because they don't have any. So let me show you how to protect yourself. First thing you're going to do is get onto the internet and type in BrokerCheck, one word, .finra, FINRA.org. Here's a snapshot of it right now. Once you do that, you'll see, once you click the link, the highlighted link, you'll see a tab that says Individual and Firm. You're going to click the tab that says Individual, and what I'd like you to do is put as much information about your advisor as you can. First name, middle name, last name, city, state. If you have the CRD, which is the Central Registry Depository Number, that's the number that every advisor gets assigned when they first start, and it follows them throughout their career. It's going to narrow your search. Once you do that and you see that it's the right advisor, look up on the right-hand side, right here, and it says Detailed Report. I want you to print that. And once you've printed that detailed report, that'll give you a sense for the advisor's background. It's like a resume, whether or not they've run afoul of any regulatory agencies. That's just the baseline. What I'm going to show you next is a customized report that I can do for you called an Advisor Suitability Report that dives in very, very deep. As a matter of fact, you can log on to my website at popsyguy.com, go to the Advisor Suitability Audit, and click on a free sample. You can actually download a PDF to see the type of information that I can provide for you. So I'm highly recommending that when you're in the process of finding an advisor, whether it's a brand new advisor or somebody that you'd like to change and find another advisor, do that. Go to my website, take a look at the Advisor Suitability Audit, but first of all, do a broker check. That's the least you can do just to protect yourself. Check out this video next because I think it's going to be very compelling.